This video will help you link multiple Scouting America or BSA member ID numbers into a single My.Scouting account. You may have multiple ID numbers because you registered in multiple councils. You might have a national council registration and a local council registration, or you might even have multiple registrations within a single council. This will help you link them so that your training records and other things will be available that we'll talk about later. This video assumes that you already have a My.Scouting account. If you don't, you're going to need to set one up, and there's helps on the starting page of My.Scouting, or there are videos that will help you set one up. When ScoutNet first started, member ID numbers were linked to a local council or to the national council. So if you move from one council to another, you got a new member ID, or if you register with the national council, you got another member ID. That made sense at the time, but now there's so many things that we do online and so many things that we do through My.Scouting. It's very helpful to have your member IDs linked into a single My.Scouting account. After you log in, you'll get to a page that looks like this. It won't have the arrows. The arrows are just to point out some things. The place that we want to get started to start linking our member IDs is on Manage Member ID, where the blue arrow. You can also reach that from any screen via the menu where the green arrow is. After you click on Manage Member ID, you'll get a screen that looks like this. It'll show if you have any member IDs already linked to this My.Scouting account. If you want to add one, you select council name or location, and there'll be a drop-down menu where you can choose a council, and then member ID where you enter your member ID. If you don't know your member ID, you can talk to your local council registrar, or the national council, you can talk to your staff advisor and they can get your number. One of your registrations will be marked as primary. That does not mean that's your primary registration with Scouting America. It means that's the one you're choosing to primarily work with in My.Scouting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Once you've added additional member IDs to this My.Scouting account, you'll get something that looks like this. One of the member IDs will be linked as primary, and the others that you'll be able to set as primary. If you want to go back and forth, you can click where it says Set as Primary and change that to primary. Sometimes you need to log completely out of My.Scouting, log back in to make that a full connection. What this will do now is it'll show that those two member IDs are linked in this My.Scouting account, and it'll start sharing information, most importantly training. The next thing you're going to want to do is choose My Training. You can either do that by clicking on the box where the blue arrow is, or again on the menu with the green arrow. Again, those arrows are not there. Those are just for illustration. Under My Training, you'll find what is connected to each member ID number, and will help you begin the process of linking your training to every membership ID number. My Training will bring you here. Don't panic if your youth protection or safeguarding youth training doesn't look correct. It'll be fixed hopefully in this process. But this will show you whether your youth protection training is active under this membership ID, but it'll also give you access to other training courses if you want to take some. And it'll show you some things that are going to be important as far as linking and some places to go for linking under requirements and completions, and we'll look at those next. When you click on requirements, you get to a page like this. This will show you all the positions that you are registered in related to that member ID number that you chose as primary. It'll show you the courses you've taken and the courses you need to take to be considered trained for that position. Don't worry if something's missing yet, because once you finish this process and link all your member IDs, there may be some courses that show up that you completed under another member ID that will show up in this one after things are linked. If you click on completions, you get to a page that looks like this. This will show all the training that's connected to that member ID that you chose as primary. You should go through the exercise of making each of your member IDs primary, going to look at this page and see what's there. The system will then know that that member ID is active. Doesn't mean it's registered, just means it's active. It's being used in My.Scouting. and we'll link the training in any member IDs that are connected to this My.Scouting account. So after about 24 hours, the report should look identical no matter which member ID you chose as primary. Once you've gone through that exercise, no matter which member ID you choose as primary, it should show all the training that is in the system and should show your youth protection or safeguarding youth training of the latest date of the latest course you took. This will also help with the registration if you register online. If you're registering in your local council, you're going to be able to do that through your local council registration here, and you choose that as primary. If you're registering in the national council, you choose that as primary and you register there. And it'll make things easier for you. Don't forget, when you're done, make sure you choose the member ID as primary of the one you use the most so that you have access to those tools. It's easy to switch back and forth, but it's a lot more convenient if you start off where your main most active registration is. Keep in mind that this process does not merge your member ID numbers, it only links them, so the training can show up in both places. If you find some training missing, you can do that again in My Training, or you can go to the Youth Protection logo or the Scouting U logo. Youth Protection will take you to Youth Protection training. Scouting U will take you to the course catalog where you can find other courses. You can take missing training to finish out that process, and once you do it, and once you have everything linked, they will show up in all of your member IDs that are linked to this My.Scouting account. I hope this helps, and thank you for all you do for Scouting.